Hello, hello! It's the Stardock stream. We're live again. You can see on the picture that's Paul Boyer.
Hello.
He is the lead designer of Galactic Civilizations III, which we are streaming today. I'm going to flip this. You can see the awesome Drengen painting, sort of, with crappy glare and whatnot. That's me and my gigantic forehead. Hooray, you've seen us. Now we can kill the camera, because I still hate the camera angle, and the lighting in here is super screwy. So... but we are here. We are streaming an internal build of Galactic Civilizations III, which is very exciting. This is a build of what will eventually become Beta 2. It is not done and won't be for a little while, a couple weeks anyway, but we have some exciting new features. We have a new game customization to dick with. No, that's you guys have already seen that. Yeah. What we do have is diplomacy, which I'm very excited about.
Well, some diplomacy.
Some diplomacy.
We're still working on the brains of it.
Moderate diplomacy.
Yes. Hey, look, the grid is off. Did you turn the grid off? Are you an anti-grid person, or do we default?
I think it's probably a default because I just grabbed that build off of the.
It's funny because we tend to change defaults and I don't realize it right away. Yeah. Okay. So we have this build, which is actually very internal. Where I debated whether to show this, but we wanted to essentially start showing some of the stuff that's coming. We have added new. Oh, hey, here people will like this. You can now zoom in and out of the mini map. Ooh, since people would yell at us about that. That's turns out to be super important on a insane map size. Where there's no way to actually get to the other side of the galaxy. We have we've hooked up trade routes now show, rally points now show, sorted mini map. Oh, and also look, if you click where you want to go, it actually takes you where you click in the mini map now, which a lot of people.
That has annoyed me since the very first pre-alpha.
Turns out there was a really weird little bug in there that was kind of embarrassing. But, I won't even mention it because people will get mad at me. But.
It seemed like it was going to the... it was putting the camera where you clicked rather than putting your actual view where it was
putting the camera where you clicked plus 25 pixels.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, or 27 pixels or some silly thing like that. We've added, not that I can really demo this without, maybe if we go to autoplay like we were doing last week, I can demo that the AI is now building things smarter.
You could totally do autoplay. I actually thought that worked pretty well for the stream.
Yeah, it's nice because when I'm answering questions, I really have a hard time playing. So let's see what else we got. We got new breakdowns for net income. Makes a lot more sense. The tourism income now counts into approval. So now everybody's happy all the time. So I'm going to have to make approval harder again. A bunch of little things like that. The govern, we've got, this is actually being changed to commands. This is the commands screen. So I can say all ships or all shipyards building scouts or building idle should build scouts. So actually here, let's have them build constructors. So I update now. I'll go back and my shipyard will now be building a constructor.
That's very cool.
I can go to here, and this is kind of wacky because we never have had this even in Galciv 2. I can say go to, and now, I forgot that these are all placeholder icons, but I can say go to Drengi. So now you can actually set destinations for planets, star bases, and shipyards, not just rally points.
Oh,
so
okay.
I can say actually send that to the Drengen shipyard, and it will actually send it to the Drengen shipyard. I can create a rally point, which we have a very placeholder rally point icon. I'm going to set this here, and then I can say go to rally point, and those are we need a sexier naming convention.
You don't want to call it Rally Point 2829? That's not
No,
evocative
as a matter of
enough
fact,
for you?
my current plan, and I want to use this for star bases and everything, is to derive the name from the star, the closest star. It'll say,
sure,
this is Sol 1 or Sol 2. It's really, honestly, not that much different because you don't really generally know the name, but you can at least visualize it. You're not going, oh, did I want to set it to 2814 or 2813?
And it'll matter more. Like, it doesn't really matter now because you're kind of always clicking on them from, the main view for the most part. But once you're starting to get into those commands and whatnot, you'll want to be able to say, oh, yeah, I want my Sol shipyards to build colony ships.
Yeah, so now you can actually go in here and we have, oops, wrong screen. So there's ships building. So here's a bunch of these. Some of these might change, but we're putting in as many as we can. Shipyards building, constructors build colony ships, update. And actually that should double click. Yeah, okay. And then shipyards sending ships to this unassigned should send them to Rally Point 3. Okay. So now all ships, let's see. Oh, ships going to Rally Point 3. Shipyards building ships that are going to Rally Point 3 should now build scouts. Some of this naming will change. Ships going to unassigned should go to Rally Point 3.
What are the numbers?
Colony ships should go to Rally Point 3. We need a better confirm message. Scouts should upgrade to. Oh, well, I don't have anything to upgrade to yet, but I could say all colony ships or all constructors. Nice. All colony ships should upgrade to constructors. Now, this is actually kind of useless until we get leasing in, because when you say all, unless there's only one, the money is so high that you generally can't out of pocket pay for it. We also have all planets building. This is currently, although we can almost now, we might actually cut this because it's hard to do, but we're going to have all planets building factories, should build research centers. I don't think that's actually going to work out. All planets using the economic governor use the research governor.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. So we have something that's that. Right now, people will like this one. All planets sponsoring Drenzy Shipyard should sponsor Drenzy Shipyard, because I only have one shipyard. We're also probably going to end up having a fleet thing on here because the ship one actually, like, if there's a scout in a fleet, it'll literally pull that ship out and send it somewhere else. So we need to have, like, all fleets going here, go here.
Right.
So this is just kind of a first pass. Like I said, I'm really happy with the fact that now you can send to planets, rally points, or star bases. So there's a lot of fun stuff there. I don't know. Here's a little subtle thing. I don't know if anybody's seen this. We have new star coronas.
Oh, yeah.
Star corona.
Are those banks, or what are those?
It's particles.
It's particles?
Just that Stefan figured out how to do an efficient flare.
Nice.
When we were trying to do them as an animation, they were way too expensive.
Oh.
Whereas this is actually just a set of particles. It's very cleverly done.
Nice.
We still want to redo the surface, so that the stars are still not quite done.
Very cool. So that's a little update on kind of what's new in this, but we have some. Wait. Oh, sorry. Did you want to go through?
We also are enabling. Here's.
You are the Drengen.
Oh wait,
Paul.
I am the Drengen. So here's the Altarians. I'm like, hey, I want to declare war on you. Oh, actually, I don't want to declare war on you. Oh, hey, wait. How do I? Oh, there it goes. So I can say I want to give you this. We're still working on the behavior of this right now. Everything besides the one you have collapses.
Oh,
I think we're going to make it so they all stay open. But the problem is, once you have 100 planets and a bunch of text, these lists are going to get really long. So we'll have to make it so they scroll. I was trying to avoid that, but it seems like that's a bad idea. Ooh, yeah, I don't want to declare war. So let's see about the Iridium.
I'm sad we don't have the Yor in there. They're still my favorite leader.
The Yor
so
will be coming later.
I think they're
Blinky Blink.
They're hopefully in the following beta. I think
they're
they?
in beta 2. Yeah,
or 2 or 3.
3. I'm sorry.
I was going to say.
Yeah. So here's the basic diplomacy screens. This is very similar to Galciv 2, but we're going to add a lot more flexibility. There will also be a starting when you go here. You will say talk to or trade. You won't go straight to trade, so that you can have little conversations. The problem is where it's like you really want to say go to war, give me $50 million, or we'll attack you.
Right.
With a conversation tree, that's very difficult to do. With me, I just go war credits. Oh look, we should make it so it's
Yeah, you need a slider or something there, probably.
Yeah. So give me 4 credits or I will kill you. And so the problem is that's really convenient and really powerful, but it's not obvious to the player. So we're playing with ways to make that a little more interesting. The UP is in and is working, is almost done. If it shows up, we'll show it to you.
That is the United Planets,
Yes.
which is our sort of governing body where you can pass crazy resolutions and things.
UP meeting. Oops.
Although the Drengen possibly would call a UP meeting.
Yes. Okay. So now this is scaling is not it's not using the proper sizing.
Right,
But
so
these
those
are
should be
dynamic.
bigger, right?
Well, yeah, they should fit the screen better.
Right.
The first thing, the way the UP works in Galactic 3 is when the UP comes up, all of the when half the races in the galaxy have all met, the UP meets.
Okay.
Okay, or it calls 5 turns. 5 turns later, the UP meets. We're toying with changing that to be based on population, but right now we're keeping it the way it was in Galactic 2, where you had to meet half the players. The only difference is that now we make it so when any race has met half the players, and that's because of multiplayer and a bunch of stuff. Anyways, but the big new change is you'll see here's the Iridium, the Terrans, and the Altarians. The first thing you do when it meets is you have to elect a chairman. So we need a chairman, and this is obviously filler text. I'm going to vote for myself, and because actually I don't know how much of is math is actually checked in, but I'm assuming I'll win. Vote. Yay! Okay, so I am now the chairman. Now in the next meeting, I think I actually have to pass a turn, or else I'll get an insert. In the next meeting, I will. This is why we autoplay. So in the next meeting, I get to propose the issues. So instead of just random issues like we had in Galactic 2, you actually get to propose issues. And then if you lose the chairmanship, then somebody else proposes them. And every 4 turns, every 4 meetings, you re-elect a chairman.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. And the nice thing is, and once, like I said, I'll get a. Is everybody doing stuff? Yes, everybody's doing stuff. What else is? Oh, we need hotkeys for a lot of these.
I think that came up in last week's chat, actually.
All right. So, so now I'll do another UP meeting. Okay. So now, oh, maybe I didn't wait. Oh, I broke it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Welcome to a beta. Anyways, not only did
really
I break
broke
it,
it.
I killed it. I guess so. Cheating the UP is not good. Anyway, so what happens is you get to pick the thing. So like you can essentially target things you like. Oh, I don't like the Drengen. I want to make slavery legal, and
Okay.
and then you try, and if you could, and you actually build clout with all the other players. So you'll as you make decisions, they make their decisions based on, well, is this good for me? Is it going to cost too much? Blah blah blah. Do I think I'll win? Not really. So I'll either so they'll vote for whatever they think you're gonna, if they like you. So this plays into the diplomacy game. If they like you, they tend to vote with you, and you end up. So at the end, one of the victory conditions is going to be that you can be elected supreme leader of the United Planets and win the game. Where this is really crazy, and we'll probably have some screenshots of this, is when you have one of these 100-player games.
Right.
Where, and it's really like the UP, when you're playing against 4 people, will play very similar to Galactic 2. When you're playing against 20 people or whatever, it's going to get big, because what ends up happening is only players with enough clout, which is what that little bar was, will be eligible to be chairman or be eligible to win things that are race specific. So it's going to be, so you will end up with a lot of really, you will actually have to do a little finessing, and you can actually choose to defy the UP and exit, but then like you don't get any of the benefits, and they all kind of hate you. And there is actually a resolution that they could pass while you're out that is kill everybody who's defied the UP. And it's also one of the ones that you can use against people when like the Drengen get pissed at you and defy the UP. The next thing is like, oh, by the way, we should kill all those people. And yeah, so there's a lot of fun stuff going on with that.
Very cool. I wanted to get to some questions because we had some.
I'm going to autoplay while we're doing this.
Okay. We had some great questions coming in on the chat, and we have some more that Island Dog collated from the forums as well, which is great. So anyway, question from the Traveler. Will there be a special touchscreen optimized UI? The Civ 5 touchscreen mode makes playing on my Lenovo Yoga so amazing and natural.
We would like to. It already works it already works on touchscreen because I have a Lenovo Yoga. Yes,
I'm actually typing on a Lenovo Yoga.
What it doesn't allow you to do right now is type. It'll let you do pretty much everything. Even the only thing that's kind of weird, and he probably noticed this from the Civ 2, is tooltips.
Sure.
Because there's really no equivalent of where's your mouse. So you actually have to leave your finger there to get that tooltip, which you can do. So I doubt if it will be, it may not be in the base game, but it is definitely something I want to do as somebody who has a touchscreen. I'd like to make sure that we can support that. So
sure.
It is not the highest priority we have. We do have the priority that it works on a touchscreen. But making it so, yes, it will work on a touchscreen, but will it be optimized for it? Probably not right away.
Right. All right. Let's see.
Oh, I'm on time.
Kind of a general question. How easy will it be to manage things? Anything new from Gal Civ 2? Because when the map size got huge, it got hard to keep track of. I mean, that's just, the governors and the actions and all that kind of stuff. It all ties into it.
Yes.
But yes, it's something that's very much on our minds because our maps are crazy freaking huge.
Yeah. So the insane map sizes are just.
I mean, this is what, huge?
This is huge, which will be in beta 2.
Which is, I mean,
but
that's
it's
a
funny
lot of
is
map.
after playing with Insane for a while, I was like, oh my god, huge isn't very big. Maybe we should make it bigger.
So huge is a fair amount.
Huge is huge, and keep in mind, all of the maps are bigger than they were in Gal Civ 2. So our huge map is like 50,000 tiles bigger than the huge in Gal Civ 2. So it's already big. Although what we are doing, what I'm trying to do now that I'm balancing things because we have terrain and stuff, planets are going to probably end up being a little bit further apart from each other. So you'll end up with about the same playable area, but with more stuff on the map. Because in Gal Civ 2, there was really nothing but planets and suns. So we need room for black holes. We need room for nebulas. We need room for rifts. We need room for everything. And also it makes range more important. And so lots of fun stuff going on.
But yeah, that's a lot of map. So yes, there will definitely be a lot of tools built in to be able to deal with it. Let's see.
That's a bug.
Creature of Existence asks, will there be super abilities in Gal Civ 3? And will there be many or insane options from who to choose from? I don't know what that second part really means.
Yes.
But super abilities I know are...
Super abilities are coming. They probably won't be until beta 4 maybe. Beta 3 if we're lucky. Mostly because most of them require special, unique code things.
Oh,
but yes, and the player. My current plan is to make it so every race has 2 abilities. If you notice that we renamed regular abilities to traits.
Right.
So rather than having super abilities, what I'd like to do is have 2 abilities, and that way, when you're making custom races, you can mix and match these abilities and get really interesting combinations.
That's a good point about custom races. Yeah. Very cool. Let's see. More chat.
I guess the problem with playing huge is there's...
It takes a while to meet people.
Look at this. They've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
yeah, the AI,
16 planets.
The AI likes to colonize.
I should have turned them all to Genius because then the
Iridium are going nuts too.
Yeah.
Gilmoy had an amusing in that, yes, it would be awesome, but there's no way we're going to get this, certainly not for vanilla, but giving the leaders some tells so that like they, their eyes twitch or whatever when they're bluffing.
That
or
sounds really expensive
so
on the
awesome.
art side.
I just like Kevin does all of our cinematics, and like I think his head might literally explode. But
Although,
it would be super cool.
By the time we get to certain expansions, we're gonna maybe those types of things will be realistic. But right now, no, we don't have anything like that planned.
It would be awesome. Let's see.
The Terrans are spreading fast. I wonder if anybody will actually start beating each other up. It looks like these two might meet each other first.
Vermilion Chaos had a good question. His question is about forming the UP when you have like crazy huge maps with 100 players. Are you going to need somebody's going to need to meet 50 of the
Somebody is going to, yes. That's the thing where we were debating.
That's
should we make it a wait?
While.
Well, not necessarily. It's surprising how quickly you meet people, and you don't have to meet them. You just have to. So what I'm actually thinking about is we'll probably have a map size modifier or a player modifier.
Sure.
That changes that. That's why I like the idea of it being population based. So you have 100 races. If it's every planet race has to be at 100 billion people, then you would essentially hit that at the same time on a small map as a large map. But the problem with that is you meet it at the same time. I mean, one of the whole fun things about Gal Civ is that you have all these different game options. You want a giant galaxy to play a completely different way than a tiny.
Sure.
So, we'll be balancing those things. Currently, we're going to just try. Everyone has met someone. So it could literally be on an immense galaxy, 500 turns before the UP meets.
We totally need in an expansion to be able to have like competing UP structures. So like this
I briefly
quadrant
thought
of the
about
galaxy,
that, but the problem is it really only would ever apply to
huge freaking maps
tons of
for one.
races,
Yeah.
and we do not have any idea how popular that will be.
That's true.
Maybe no one will like it. Maybe it'll be annoying. We just want to do it,
Right.
and then the question is it fun? And
Right.
if it's fun, and one of the things we're doing with the UP and making sure that it can handle these numbers is to try and make it fun. So if it's fun, then we're going to play with it. And, but right now we're just mostly making sure it works. And, because the UP, people got to kick. Ooh, these guys have finally met. Maybe they'll start killing each other. The UP was always kind of a fun little thing in Gal Civ 2, but you didn't really worry about it,
Sure.
Whereas the UP in Gal Civ 3 should be a valid way to manipulate the game. It can be a cudgel. It can be a way to suck up to people. You vote for people like the Drengen. You can't win, so you vote that the Drengen will win, and you get points with them. And now they're like you a little better. And so these things will all affect your relations, and the decisions will be actually weighed as best we can. Sometimes it's hard, especially with the more obscure UP resolutions, but it's gonna be a really fun new aspect to the game. The problem is, like you said, on different map sizes, it will vary so greatly, and that's the thing we're gonna have to balance.
Totally. Let's see. Norseman Viking says, would be cool if you could refuse accepting UP decisions and become an interstellar pariah. I think we covered that.
You can.
That would be cool. And
you can. You can flip them the bird and leave. But like I said, you'll get you will lose all. Okay, there's some pluses too. Let's be realistic. Let's pretend we're Scotland. Although they didn't do this, they get to keep. They don't have to pay those taxes anymore because there's all these all UP resolutions are attached to a tax, and the tax is based on your GDP. So they can be quite high. It's like 1%. Oh, that's nothing. Oh well.
It's 100 credits per turn or whatever.
I'm a giant race. That's 100 credits per turn. It's 1 billion credits per turn, whatever. So those are the types of things that you don't have to pay anymore. The bad news is no one in the UP will trade with you anymore, or you'll lose any stimulus acts or things like that. And also you'll piss off everyone that is in the UP. So it's a valid technique. And if 3 of the races defy and only 3 are still in, then who cares? You know? So, or only the weak races are in. I'm the Drengen. I own 3/4. Screw the UP. So yeah, I have no interest in getting them to vote me supreme leader. I'll just take their planets. Wow, this is turning colorful very quickly.
It really is. Let's see. Is there a way to peek at the enemy planets through a cheat or anything? Gilmore wants to know.
Oh, well, there is through a cheat, yes. You can go to God, or I think it's called God mode, or just God, and then you can double-click on their planets. And see.
Okay.
We will have, well, we're thinking actually about it, making it so survey ships could survey planets before they colonize them.
Well,
So that's something we're playing with.
Yeah.
There was, in Galaxy Civ 2, we had an espionage level that allowed you to see player planets. Since espionage is kind of being pushed into an expansion, I don't know if we're going to bother to do that, but it would be nice. Right now, we actually err on just letting the player know almost everything about the other race, other than what buildings have they built.
Right.
So,
because you can get a lot of it out of the tooltip. I think this guy was just interested in, just seeing what the AI is doing. Let's see. Crew Chief Resistance wants to know, will ships be able to patrol or scout around your influence area? That's an excellent question. I would love to be able for my ships to patrol.
Yes. Yes. Not promised, but yes. That's
right.
the plan. Essentially, we need something for scout, for explore when everything's been explored.
Right.
So we probably have a scout, or a patrol, which would just be explore known territory.
Okay. Let's see. So clout will affect how the other people vote for or against you. Yes, it will. That's kind of the idea. Let's see.
Oh, this isn't my planet. I'm playing the Drengen. Speaking of which, let's test that God thing then.
Will starport defenses be upgradable with constructors or be set in stone with some kind of minimum defense only?
Currently, they are minimum defense only, but there will be tech. I'm planning on introducing techs that will boost them. But we really want people to defend their starports with ships. Starport is meant to be vulnerable. What we don't want is it to be cheesable. And we've already done that. I don't know. Actually, let me see. I think it's in here. See, all of the star bases actually have defenses.
Oh, sure. So at least you can't run in with a scout with a laser on it and blow up their star base.
But we will be playing with that.
Okay. Sure. Shipyards. I keep calling them starports. Someday I'm going to remember to call them shipyards. It's going to be great. Let's see.
Oh, hey, look, this string is still here. I need to take that. So here you can see, like, this is a active core planet, and it's got a plus 50, which is the tooltip is bad, plus 50 to manufacturing. So the AI knew to make this a manufacturing world. So it built factory, farm, factory. So it's essentially, now if it got smart enough, it'll actually put
like a power plant.
It'll put power plant on here, and then after the farm, it'll put approval, and and you can see even how it's kind of setting aside tiles. It's like, I know this is going to be a good spot for.
It's definitely doing a lot better than it was in previous betas.
Yeah, and we're still polishing it right now. AI won't, probably for beta 1, the AI won't be terraforming tiles. But it does. I thought I'd be further along, but I guess I am legitimately playing. There's a lot of empty planets here. I guess these building ships like crazy. Okay, here's Earth.
Hey, did we get the?
So Earth, we ended up with factory, research, consulate, approval, money, farm.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's that, and put the farms next to the research next to there. These. Probably just bad luck that those didn't end up in a good spot. So yeah, the AI we have a whole governor system that I can handcraft, and then the AI picks from. So I will just we'll make them as smart. They should play like a human, really. Yeah. So
and that's always the goal.
Yeah,
certainly.
And you'll notice that, at the very least, it doesn't it will actually weigh. Like here's one where this is a military thing. But as a governor, it was like, I don't really need a military thing here. But this tile here gives an influence bonus. So it put that influence thing on there. So even when it doesn't put, and see, same. So
I'm very glad you got the arrows back in. I like those a lot.
Oh, you know what? I still want to reskin those. I don't know if I want to make them prettier. Right now, they just are there.
I don't know. They work.
They're not bad. They're not the most beautiful things in the world.
How many? Let's see. Hold on. How our planetary invasion is going to be handled, that's a big question that probably
we're still putting that one off because we're not happy with any of the solutions we have yet. But it's going to be similar to Galciv 2, but with more tactics, in that it'll be more of a rock paper scissors thing where you can counter invasion techniques with what you build on your planet. You can counter defenses with how you invade.
Okay.
So we'll be seeing that probably not till beta
3, 4,
maybe 3, but for sure by 4.
Okay. And as a reminder, beta 3 is in December, and that's going to be combat, starship combat for sure. Hopefully invasions. We'll see. Pulsing probably 4, so I'm going to say it's probably 4.
Our focus for 3 is Battle Viewer. That's pretty much all we care about, is getting the Battle Viewer in. It won't be done. It won't be perfect, but it will be working, and it will hopefully be at least sexy enough to where people will start and also the battle system. They'll start, we won't get that question. How does this work anymore? It'll be obvious.
Right. How many humans and AI opponents will we be able to play against in multiplayer in the final game? I mean, that question is pretty much as many as we can do in a stable fashion. I think generally
we will definitely be limiting the humans.
Right.
But we will not be limiting. Wow, apparently if you just let it autoplay, you can buy like 20 treats in a row.
I love this part about autoplay. Wow, our researchers have been busy.
Anyways, yeah, so there will be a limit on human players, but the limit on AI players will be the same as the overall sandbox game.
Sure.
So literally, like you and me want to play a game that lasts a month. We could play an immense map with 100 players with just you and I, and we probably wouldn't meet for the first 3 weeks. But although if you form an alliance, then you'd know where you
could do
or
team.
You could do team or whatever. Yeah. So there'll be lots. This is one of the things that that's the type of stuff we balance toward the end of the process,
right?
And probably honestly beyond the end of the process.
And it's really, I mean, it's just a limit of how good can we make our networking code where we don't start running into more disconnects and desyncs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of. And also, honestly, it's really a question of how practical is a immense game with 50 people. I mean, are you guys all going to meet up on Thursday night?
Right.
So,
is it worth our time to?
Yeah, I can't imagine playing with more than 4 people, honestly.
Right.
But we'll probably support more than that.
I mean, we have to go more than 4, but yeah.
But I mean, especially if you've played this game, the turn-based process is not exactly exhilarating.
Right. So, okay, let's see. Will it be possible to have an area of space where a ship graveyard spawns later in the game? Yes, we actually talked about that last week. We will have anomalies spawn as the game goes on. System isn't in yet, but it will be. Things like battles, creating ship graveyards and stuff like that, absolutely, because survey ships should have a purpose after turn 30
I was originally going to actually make it a separate ship to salvage battles, but we're just going to hand wave it away. Instead of it being a salvage ship, it'll just be a survey ship is the same as a salvage.
Let's see.
I thought I toggled AI. What's going
on? Will there be toggleable or sliders for graphics options, fanciness like heat distortion and various particles and that kind of thing to kind of tune?
Some, not crazy. I mean, we're not a first-person shooter. We kind of, unfortunately, also like with particles and stuff, we need those particles to work for everybody. Like you can't have. What we can do is make it so that there are lower particle count, and you can turn off bloom, you can turn off, gel UI, little things like that. But we can't really turn off too much because it's kind of the base of the game. Right. We're honestly, I mean, we are pushing. I know people looking go, why is this just Doom has a billion graphics, but Doom you can't do this on Doom. We look at this guy and then zoom all the way over here
instantly with no load time.
And look at this guy, and plus 100 more races. So that's a graphical challenge unto itself. That's where most of our horsepower goes. Right. So we're very concerned about that. And then on top of that, we try and make it look as good as possible.
Right. And really, I mean, this is, people ask why 64-bit, blah, blah, blah. Like, 64-bit has a huge amount to do with the fact that we can do stuff at this scale and crash.
Did I crash?
It looks like you crashed again.
I haven't got a crash in a long time.
Welcome to development builds, I guess. I mean, you've been cheating and stuff, though. That's always weird.
No, but it's a frozen crash.
Wow. Wow. See, this is why we're conservative with our streaming internal builds.
Well, I'm disappointed by that.
It is disappointing. But hey, game development, everybody.
This is a good time to answer.
Yeah. Cool suggestion out of chat. Can extreme planet types have some sort of special building that you can only build on that kind of a planet? That's an interesting idea.
It is an interesting idea. I currently don't have anything planned like that, but what we do, what the current plan is that you will unlock a extreme world like you did in Cal Civ 2 through a tech. Then you can go and colonize it. Then you can research another tech that will make it behave like a normal world. So you don't have any penalties. You get more tiles or whatever. I'm not sure how we want to do that yet. And then you'll unlock a third tech that will take advantage of whatever the weirdness of that planet is and give it a bonus. So that's kind of like the idea. So in a weird way, that's kind of like what you're asking. Is there something that only this planet can do that will give you a bonus? And yes, but it will. Right now, it's a technological thing, rather than an improvement.
Sure. People saying that you need to report your bug on the forums. Maybe try restarting the computer.
I'm used to having a dev build where I can actually look at the bug.
Oh, sure.
So to me, if I can't actually see it in the debugger, it didn't happen. So.
Excellent. All right. So I think we've gotten through what's in chat so far. And please do feel free, you guys that are watching, to drop more questions in there and we'll get back to it. But we have some stuff from the forums as well. Let's see. There's some concern about optimizations and graphics cards. Somebody's getting 5 FPS on a 2014 Razer Blade, which is obviously wrong. Should be getting way more than that.
What's a Razer Blade?
The Blade is like a model of laptop that Razer makes.
That's, I'm sure, the Intel graphics problem.
And I thought we fixed that.
We did, but not in their build.
Oh, that's still that hasn't gone out to public yet?
We fixed it by forcing them to use the integrated graphics.
Ah, I see.
Which
so
was a hack. I mean, not a hack, but it's a bad solution.
Right.
What we did in the meantime, which actually cost us like 2 weeks of valuable battle viewer dev time, so it killed me, is we completely gutted and redid the font system. And that's what was causing all this problem is, you would have gotten faster frame rates if your fonts were working. I mean, if you could use your high-end graphics side or whatever, but then you'd have no fonts, so the game would be kind of useless to you. So in the long run, we had to just gut and completely redo the font system, which is what we're showing here. And hopefully no one, well, obviously over the stream, no one can tell the difference. Actually, I think they look a smidgen better and clearer. So very excited about that new font system, which should up performance for everybody, not just the people with the bad graphics. So that's exciting.
All right. So that's that. Let's see. Currently, after I build a mining base, I still fail to see any benefit for the resource until I get to the Age of War. I'd like to suggest a change. I know resources aren't done, but user suggestion. Upon acquiring said resource, you immediately get a benefit to either defense or attack or something. I think the idea is just to get something in there early on for those resources to give them kind of a purpose.
Well, yeah, that we need to do that, but not in the way he's suggesting, because that's an entirely different type of resource. Which one of the things coming in beta 2 is we have relics, and they essentially, when you tap them, give you a bonus, a global bonus. They're essentially like what we had the resource in Gal Civ 2. The whole point of the strategic resources is they give you a thing, and that thing is useful for something. The problem is right now there's not anything really useful hooked up. So that is my problem to fix. And hopefully I will do so as soon as possible.
All right. Let's see. binary and trinary star systems have been
Binary star
mentioned.
systems are coming, but probably not for a while.
Okay.
Trinary, no. We were talking about clusters, doing tight clusters of stars. That's in the mock-up. I don't know if people would even notice. So we'll play with things like that. I had like a whole bunch of different groups. I had one that was like a star in a nebula and a bunch of things like that. Those are we will introduce as is practical. And I'm sure we'll think of new crazy star system types in the future as we go into expansions or DLC. But yeah, binaries are in the dock and are planned, but they were waiting on the particle system, and now the particle system is in.
Gotcha.
So we need to just get around to them.
How advanced will the AI this time be regarding diplomacy? Super advanced. It's gonna be
It should
amazing.
be super advanced, and it should be more advanced than the Galciv 2 one. I mean, not that that wasn't good, but it was very hard coded. Whereas we're not ashamed of hard coding things, but we're putting in a much more elaborate structure to for decision making.
Okay.
And that should apply to UP and to conversations and to just general diplomacy. So we have a lot planned for that. I'm not promising that in beta 2 the AI will be great at diplomacy.
Sure.
This is, you kind of think of beta 2 as our alpha for diplomacy. It's bare bones, and then it's going to be just a lot of game designer work for the next few months before the AI has a lot to say, before it makes really smart decisions. A lot of balancing of like, oh, well, I never really thought that if you had a starbase in that guy's territory, you shouldn't do this thing or whatever. So those are all things that we will be able to adjust now,
Gotcha.
in a much more flexible way.
Sure. Had some questions about playing at high resolutions, 1920 and higher. People saying, the UI starts to get really small. Small parts in the ship designer are hard to sort of get much of a view on, especially small ones. Do you have any thoughts on
we're
what
going
we're
to
doing
have,
about
you
that?
can see this UI size toggle here.
Mhm.
Right now, there's the only two that are working are large and small. And large is kind of useless unless you're like at 4K.
Okay.
I can run it on my 2500 by 1600, and it essentially looks a lot like a 17, like a 12. So there's UI sizes. What the question is right now is, do we want those to be automatically assigned?
Oh, based on resolution.
Yeah, based on
Sure.
resolution. Because Brad keeps going, why is this so small? And I'm like, well, because it has to fit on 1024 by 760. So once they're all working flawlessly, we will then probably make them turn on automatically and then have that be an option.
Gotcha.
So if you are somebody who has great eyesight or has really good glasses and wants to play on a 4K monitor with the normal or small, whatever we end up calling it, UI size, you can. But we also want people who are blind to be able to play on extra large.
Or people that are like
Yeah.
playing on their TV or something,
Yeah, or
sitting
playing on
farther away.
Yeah. So we have to account for those things. They are not finalized right now, but yes, we are accounting for that. The only question in my mind right now is, should we automatically pick for you?
Sure.
And my old school gamer self is like, no, man, I want to pick. But honestly, there's really no reason not to, as long as we let you override it.
Right.
So
Question about customizing your custom race and its home planet and its home star system, and pretty much all that is exposed in, at least in the XML, right?
Oh, it's definitely in the XML, so people will be with that. But we want to actually have an editor, and we'll let you do all that stuff. Whether it will be fully fleshed out, it might just be create a custom faction, and then that's it for the vanilla game.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, I want you to be able to pick the style of your ships, what ships are used in each one, your AI personality. One of the things we're changing that's kind of cool is we've always had like these traits, these what we're calling personality traits for each of the player defined races. I mean, by our defined races. And in Galciv 2, you would go, I want to pick the Drengen one.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we want to expose those to, like, in the custom faction thing at some point, where you can say, this guy is a dick, or he's super aggressive, and he's mean, and he's this, and he's that, and he's that, and he's greedy, and he's cheap. And then you slide those back and forth, and then therefore your race will play differently. So you will literally be handcrafting the AI a little.
That's cool.
The other thing we're going to do is make it so that all of the player traits, the ones that you get bonuses from, also affect personality. That's why if you read the descriptions, you know, it's like he's productive and influential and traders and adventuresome. These are all descriptives on purpose because those are now. So I have 2 points in traders. That means that I'm going to highly weight any trade resolutions, or I will definitely trade with people more quickly. And so these are things that will also all now get fed into the decision-making process for the AI. So literally when you set up a custom AI and he's got traits, and if you set up these abilities, it will play differently than any other race, unless of course it has the exact same setting. So literally because there's so many of these options, I mean, I don't want to say infinite, but there's some god-awful huge amount of possibilities.
Right.
So yeah, so you could make a custom, you can make a giant galaxy with and if you have the time to make custom races, you could make 100 custom races that all play slightly differently. And it'll be something else. Like I was telling last week, I kind of think of the Insane Galaxies as like a massively single player, turn-based strategy game where it's like, I want to write an epic poem about this game, and you can do that. So.
Excellent. Let's see. Will we be able to mod the AI? Like, are those behaviors exposed at all, or is it really?
Well, that is literally what you'll be doing in this edit. I mean, you can already, like I said, you just literally go in and say, AI likes this. He has these personality traits. He's pro-war, pro-growth, pro-this, pro-that, and all of those will literally make that AI play differently.
Sure. But you couldn't go in and say and like change what aggressive means. Like aggressive lives, the definition of what an aggressive leader is would live in the code, I would imagine.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to change that. But
but that's their turn. Yes, it's aggressive. Yes,
sure.
So whether you'll be able to make custom traits and stuff, you will be able to do that if you're a modder. Whether it would be harder to get those to then affect the AI's behavior.
Sure.
Not undoable, but not without like the editor would you really be able to do that.
Sure.
But hopefully literally just the vanilla custom race editor, whatever it ends up being, will let you make some amazing, unique AIs.
Very cool. Anything else you want to get to on the stream, on diplomacy or anything like that? We are bumping up against our
I don't know. I suppose it's been a while. I always feel guilty that I don't do more interesting things on the screen. But I think we're making some progress. Hopefully, we've already got some relations. This is a temporary thing. So you are outside of our travel range. You have weaker military than us. So these are plus. So we're already starting to expose this. This little tooltip that you're seeing will end up being a much bigger report. I was debating whether it should be a window into itself, but I think it's all just passive information. And also, I'd like for this to become some sort of procedural window that can show many more races.
Right.
So we don't want you to have to toggle through all these races. You want to be able to just mouse over and go, oh, the Drengen don't like me.
Sure.
So yeah, lots of stuff like that. There's moods now. So there's how the AI feels about you versus how his relations are you. So if you do something to piss him off, it'll actually say he's really in a bad mood, but your relations have always been good, and it'll like start wafting that way.
Okay.
So it's not like you literally there will be rage triggers. I don't think that's what we're calling them, but that's what I call, that will actually cause things to go really nuts. So, trade will be in, at least vanilla trade. We have the ability to have multiple types of trade routes. I think what we're going to do is just do a traditional money trade route for beta 2, and mostly because I don't have time to do any more screens. So this is my life. Anyway, so lots of fun stuff. Beta 2 will be very interesting, and hopefully people have a lot of fun with it. It's obviously not going to be done, and even the stuff that we put in will still be getting polished, as anybody who's been along since the alpha will know. And anybody who's been in the beta will probably already notice lots of differences. Oh, I don't know if it didn't get in, if people have seen that now when you launch a colony ship or a transport, it lets you pick the planets you want.
Oh, nice. From. It's not just automatic off of the...
Well, it automatically does even distribution amongst all sponsoring planets.
Okay.
Which is something that we didn't do before. So that way, if you literally have 5 planets, you don't depopulate them instantly.
Right.
But you can also uncheck one. So like I never want one coming from Mars, right? So I can uncheck Mars, and then it'll always take from Earth or whatever. Nice. So that's in. Lots of little polish points. Rally points are coming in. The cultural relics, the Ascension gates will be coming in for this. Ascension Victory will be turned on. Influence Victory will be turned on. So yeah, we're still nowhere near finished, but it'll be, one step closer, and hopefully the people who are like, I hate that we start at war will, be going, how come I can't get them to go to war with me?
Excellent. One little programming note before we kill the stream. One of our producers, who's actually the Galciv 3 producer, Ray, who is Rain Man something in the chat. You see him pop his head in from time to time. But he is doing a charity stream. You may have heard of the Extra Life thing that happens from time to time. So Ray is streaming a marathon, and he would love your support just to view, or if you want to donate to the charity. It's a charity that goes to a local hospital here in Michigan, and it's a really nice cause. It's we've done. There's Rain Man in the chat. We've done. I've done charity stuff in the past. This stuff it's always fun. It's just a good time to kind of get together, stream some games, talk some games, raise some money for some kids. It's good stuff. So in the chat, I've pasted the link to his charity site and to his Twitch stream, which is twitch.tv/Rainman, RAYNMAN69, because he is saucy like that. So go check out Ray's stream. Ray, when is that happening? I don't actually know. I think it's soon.
Saturday.
Is it Saturday?
Saturday and Sunday, or
the chat is always behind. I know Ray's in the chat and he's listening to me. So I'm just waiting for him to actually answer that.
About Sunday being good because nobody else is streaming on Sunday.
Makes sense. Everybody's watching football. Everybody who hasn't been disgusted with the NFL,
or they're working on Kryn tech trees.
I was going to say, or they're in Galciv 3. So we should have the Galciv, we should have the Kryn to show soon.
Yeah, we're working on the ships right now. We don't want to really show them until their tech tree is done and their ships are in, but they will be in for beta 2 for sure.
Very cool. So there you go. 6 p.m. on Saturday for Ray's stream. Check it out, twitch.tv/Rainman69, and we'll have more Galciv for you soon, and by soon I mean next week. Happy conquering, everybody. Make sure to put your bugs on the forums. We appreciate it. See ya.